So let's turn to Democrat Julian Epstein. So tech billionaires are threatening to flee California over its proposed 5% wealth tax. It could apply retroactively to anyone who lived in California as of January 1st, 2026. California currently has nearly $18 billion budget deficit. Why is it always blue states and cities that invent these new ways to tax its citizens?
Well, Ed, thanks for having me on. It's not just blue states, it's a lot of Europe. And we've seen in Europe these wealth taxes, this sort of head count tax that Chicago is trying, they've all failed. The most productive people in the state actually leave. And this is sort of there's a bigger story here about progressive incompetence when it comes to governing, whether it's homelessness or fires in California or crime or immigration. The left has now set up a welfare state that is built for failure, built for fraud. It transfers money, Ed, from the most productive people in a state to programs that have limited effectiveness in terms of improving outcomes for the beneficiaries. The programs are have very, very poor oversight, and as a result, they are very, very vulnerable to fraud. And the Democratic Party, for its part, has not been interested in really sort of fixing the problems of fraud, which are widespread, probably going to the hundreds of billions of dollars, and they are interested really only in increasing the spend on these programs. And this is exactly how civilizations fail.
Yeah, and we're starting to see some of that. So at what point, then, do lawmakers in liberal states realize that if you raise taxes, it makes it hard to do business and continue to run these massive deficits because of bloated government programs, that the tax base will leave?
Well, there's no question about that. You're seeing that in blue states now. You're seeing that in Chicago. You're seeing that in New York. You're seeing that in California. There's a huge migration to Texas and to Florida, amongst other red states. So you see the most productive people and businesses in a state leaving for lower tax havens. You also just see sort of a culture. I beg your pardon, Ed?
They're not getting the message. When do
They're not getting the message. No, I think the progressive orthodoxy now is that we can survive if we keep expanding the welfare state. So more and more people are made dependent on the welfare state, and that's how we gain voters. And to hell with the fact that we may be inviting billions of dollars of fraud with an ever-shrinking tax base, because what we're doing is we're ensuring that more and more people are wards of the state and that will therefore vote for us. And I think this is a bankrupt ideology. It's a bankrupt philosophy. And this is why when you and I were talking last week, Ed, I was saying that Democrats have got to get away from the orthodoxy of the welfare state and identity politics. These are bankrupt ideas. They're taking the party nowhere, that they think in the short term buys them votes, but in the long term vote, just increases the number of people that are resentful towards the Democratic Party, that don't believe in the Democratic Party, and that are really leading to decay, to decadence in the country generally. And the Democratic Party needs to get away from the narcotic of these ideas and get back into building the way the Democratic Party did in the 1990s.
Now, I want to get to this, Julian. Listen to California Representative Dara Issa on the plan to keep raising taxes like a wealth tax. Listen.
At some point, you keep raising taxes, productivity and revenue goes down, so you keep raising taxes to try to make back that revenue. California's economy is really stalling, and what's going to end up happening is that cycle of higher taxes will never end until they wake up and realize that lowering taxes actually can increase productivity and certainly make California competitive, which today it really isn't.
So, but on the other side of this, do you think that these states, the deeply blue cities of Chicago, say Los Angeles, are going to ask the federal government at the end of the day for a handout to help them bail them out?
They won't get it. We're spending money that we no longer have. It's borrowed money on the backs of our future generations. But this is no longer theory. This is fact now. We know this from the European experience, where these high taxes in big welfare states are making people leave. And the same thing is happening in blue states all over the country. So there's enormous amount of evidence that this kind of ideology just doesn't work. And that's why the Democrats have got to go back to the political center and start building again the way they did a generation ago.
Thank you, Julian. I appreciate the insights on this. Happy New Year to you.
Ed, thanks, and Happy New Year to you as well.